Todd Medina, Soulogy One Studios. Got a little soul speak, something different. What do we have here, man? I mean, between us all, one and all. Gotta count it all, cause we all are climbing the same mountain. We got these building blocks of differences, directed by our inferences. Culture, country, clannish preferences, religious references. Seems we were controlled by outer man. Seems we are conceived by inner man. This was all the plan to find our way back now. Yeah, it's a master's plan. We're all the same brand. Gone is the indifferences to our differences. Got to start asking ourselves, what are these differences? Can't be all that strong. What happens if we start taking them down one by one, these walls? You go first, man. And then you go next, sister. Take out Islam, Muhammad, Allah. Okay, then take out Jesus, Mary, Joseph, and all the gods. Let's take out white ain't always right. I love the beauty of the darkest night. You say no more gays, I say no more straights. What about the sciences, stars, houses, wars, cars? Strip it all off till we have nothing left. Nothing left at all. But what? Me and you? You and me? Then the other is gone, and what you got left? That's all we need. That's all we got. That's all we need. That's all we got. It's all we need. And it's all we got. And that ought to tell you something about who and what. You alright? Who and what you and I are. We are the Jesus and Allah, the sciences, spirits, and the stars. Coming down the promenade, apocalyptic, no longer cryptic. Mother Mystic says the veil is lifted. Time to come home. But stay where you are. Stay where you are, baby. That's all we need. And that's all we got. It's all we need. And it's all we got. It's all we need. And it's all we got. Namaste. What's happening? I think we need to have a conversation. Well, I'm going to have one. I just did one in the kitchen, and evidently we had some problems, but I think people got the gist of it. You know, it's time to get real, all of us. It's time for us to take the bull by the horns and be what we are. And I'm not going to hold back any longer. I'm not afraid of anything. I'm not worried about somebody coming in and saying you got to do this, or we're going to kill you or put you in prison or censor you, or whatever the case is. We are energy. We are made in the image of that which we've chased, yet we are that. And we've been given this golden opportunity to be that in physical form, man. I mean, think about that. Think about not what's been put before us in a distorted manner to take our attention away from what we are and what we are to each other. I mean, look, I said this earlier today in the kitchen. All right. What's going on in the world right now? What's dominating the headlines and dominating, at least in an attempt to dominate our focus and our attention, it's just another face of the same program that's been going on for thousands and thousands of years. And let's be clear about this. We're all eternal souls, okay? And the universe is asking us to own it. And these things that are presented before us such as what's going on in the world today, are designed by us in our infinite wisdom, okay, to serve as a catalyst for us to step into our power. And how do we do that? We do that by honoring ourselves and by saying yes or saying no. And I just want to make something clear. We have been giving our consent to everything and anything that's come down the pike for the most part, especially on a global scale, or a regional scale, or a country scale, or a religion scale. And it's been disguised as we're being forced to do something. Nobody can force us to do anything. Nobody can force us to do anything. It's not about the marching and the protesting. All those are physical representations of an energetic force. Because the most important thing is right here where I make the decision to say yes or no. And where I also respect the decision of others. Now, this isn't some new age hippie BS, okay? This is full circle. We have come full circle for 10 years. 10 years, Soulogy's been around. And for about 10 years, you go back to about 2012, some people woke up or were on this path earlier than that. But for the last 10 years, people have been channeling, mediums, psychics, downloads, activations, you name it. Dimensional experiences, everybody's sharing this information. It's in the field. We know that we're not just human. We know that. We know that this is a beyond quantum field. We know that. So what's the most important, powerful stroke that we can do? What's the most powerful action that we can take? And that is to take our holy and wholeness, our sovereignty, our freedom, our divine right to choose. When the universe split for the first time and created the first pair, the one that created the second one, if that's even possible, because it's a chicken and the egg scenario, it didn't put any limitations on that which it created. And so the flower of life expanded from there. And everything that was absolute in that moment of the original conception or the split of the first soul, oversoul, whatever you want to call it, the one, it's still the same for us. We have the right to choose. And nobody can force us to do anything. Now, what is being presented to us, all of us, and it's not just about the pandemic and about a jab. It's about everything, like I said this morning in the kitchen. It's the same thing over and over. It's always the same choice. Are we going to choose holy and whole in alignment with our heart, or are we going to choose the distortion and the threat? Okay? What are they going to do? We are eternal souls, and they is us, by the way, the you, me, we, and it. These are our beloved brothers and sisters playing roles, if you want to look at it that way. But that's still us. But what can anything do to us if we're eternal souls? Take this body away from me? What's going to happen? Many of us have had experiences with disincarnated souls that have transitioned to the other side, so to speak. We've had, interactions with angels and galactics and elementals and other divine essences. We know that we go on forever. We know this. And we're being given the opportunity to own that, to live that, to be that. And how do we do that? Well, we have been awakened by many, many things. We've been awakened by our traumas and finding out that we're not those things that we thought we were. We're not that victim. We're not that perpetrator. We've also found it through the woo-woo, through the downloads and the channelings and the visitations. This is all code. It's all code provided to us by us so that we will figure out what's going on. And more importantly, it's not just about waking up. It's about doing something with the code that's been put before us, that's infused within us, that's in our DNA. This is why we came. We came to create newness. It's not just about new Earth or a new life or a new solar system or galaxy, or it's about all of it. All of it's new. We are not coming up to the level of the galactics or the elementals or the angelic or the archangelic or the one even. We are all of that. That's awakening. But what we're doing is we're going beyond that. And we're taking everybody with us. The entire universe is expanding as a result of what we do. And don't make a mistake. We have done tremendous work. The human hybrid soul species has done tremendous work, and we didn't come all this way for nothing. And how do we realize this? How do we be this? Well, it's not from the traumas. They provided code for us, and it's not even from the woo-woo anymore. That was code for us. Okay? We've over-identified with the trauma. We've over-identified with the woo-woo. The universe provided this opportunity. We exercised our free will. We said yes, and we came down here, so to speak, to be human beings that housed a soul. And make no mistake, the human being, the body, the physical Merkaba, is just as holy and whole. It is the soul. And the great thing about the human, the offering that the human has for the universe is the heart. Anyone that's had interactions with the galactics in particular, they don't have the emotional intelligence that we have. And I talked about this before, and this isn't something I came up with. This is innate. We know this. There's been, recall from different people and talking about how our energy's been siphoned to run entire planets because of our unbridled emotions. But now we're getting this in control. We've done enough shadow work and zero pointing, and we'll keep doing it. We'll keep refining it because that's what the universe does. It continues to expand and grow. And we are made in the image of it. And even when we don't think we're doing it, we're doing it. We're all doing it. And we need to give ourselves the respect, the self-respect, and the mutual respect of what we are. Everyone that stepped foot on this earth and incarnated in a physical body, and I don't care if it was Hitler or Mother Teresa, it doesn't matter. Every one of them is playing a specific role that was chosen by them in mutual agreement with the universe. And these roles are all relevant and all necessary and all part of us. So the human heart is the soul within the soul. It's our offering to the universe. It's the core of our alchemy. It allows us to take these unbridled emotions that have been running rampant all of our lives, plural, for all of us. And now we take that same emotion, that compassion, okay? Even the anger and all the different things that the emotions created because we were unconscious, but now we have some control over it. And this is what we offer the universe. This is the gold. This is the alchemic raw material that no one else has, that you can only get by being a human being. But how does it work? It doesn't work through the woo-woo. That was code for us to get to this point. It works by a conscious and a responsible co-creator, a co-collaborator. Because when I choose what is in alignment with my heart in each moment that I live, I am best serving my brothers and sisters, and I am best serving this universe. This is how we maximize our potential. And you would think it's going to be the spaceships landing and they come tell us, our brothers get off the spaceships and they come tell us, hey, this is what happened. It was a hologram. It was a simulation. It was this, it was that. That's the story. We're energy. We're energy. We would think it's going to be the angels, or we think it's going to be Jesus, we think it's going to be Buddha, whatever the case is, but it's not. It's us. They are all us. All this code, all this trauma, all the woo-woo, everything is us. It's already there, right? So then what's the point? Well, the point is, what are we going to do with it? And how does it happen? Well, the way it happens is through a conscious, living example, energy that's walking the talk. And it's so drilled down to the human because we came here to be a human. It's in every single moment that we live. It's every choice that we make. So what's the big, giant elephant in the room? We know what it is, right? And if you don't know what it is, just look under any post that mentions it, because it'll have a little thing underneath it from Facebook telling you where to get more information on it. Now, why am I bringing this up today? Because we have a choice. And we can't use the excuse that I was forced to do something. We have a choice. And I said it earlier in the kitchen. 6 cops walk in here with their bully sticks and their guns and whatever, and they pin me to the ground and they stick something in my body. I still didn't say yes. Now, it might look like I was defeated. It might look like something was done on to me, but not to my soul. I did not compromise my soul. You want to put me in prison? Put me in prison. You want to take away my so-called rights in a free society, which is a joke, and there's not one on the face of the earth, and never has been. But I say no, or I can say yes. But whatever I do, it's in alignment with my heart. And when I'm in alignment with my heart, I serve myself, I serve this universe, and I serve my brothers and sisters in equal fashion. It's a true win-win-win proposition. That is the equation of the Trinity. And this is the age of the Trinity. We don't need to give our power away anymore. And we don't need to look for examples in our history when we did, because every step along the way we have. And what I was saying today when I got cut off in the kitchen, what happens if 1 million people or 100 million people or 1 billion people say no? It doesn't matter how they say no. It doesn't matter what it looks like, okay, in the physical expression, the physical representation of the energetic decision to align with my heart, align with your heart. That energy will be felt. That and many of us know about energy. Many of us have experienced it. Many of us have seen the power of it. So imagine we're 2 or more gathered. Okay? So we say no, or we say yes, or whatever it is. It's not even about no or yes. It's about doing what's right for me with no bullshit, because you can't bullshit yourself and you can't bullshit the universe. It's about saying, doing, being what is natural to me, and what is unnatural, I will not do. We have compromised and compromised and compromised our soul over and over again. And forget about what's going on the world stage and think about your own life. Think about the transformations that we've had, at least in the last 10 years. Think about the narcissistic relationship you walked away from. Think about the job that you didn't like that you walked away from. These were decisions of self-empowerment, self-reliance, and responsible co-creator souls. And that is the real virus. That lights this grid up, even if nobody knows what your decision was, and you sit in a room by yourself and you just say no, or you say yes, whatever that choice is, whatever the situation is, that you choose your heart. The heart is the soul within the souls, and the human hybrid soul in its grand experiment, in its grand experience. This is the unique offering when we came here. We were given this choice. We exercise our free will. Why? To come down and be a human being. There's humanoid incarnations all over this solar system and throughout the universe and other universes. Why this one? Because it was a realm of the most extreme polarity, and because there was this fascinating, unknown, new universal invention, idea, whatever you want to call it, centered in the heart, seen by the emotions. Think about why you've gotten mad. Think about your compassion. Think about all the different emotions that you've had, not the things that had happened as a result, but what it felt like to be angry, what it felt like to love somebody, what it felt like deep within your heart. And what we're doing is we're taking all of those things, and we're keeping them in the heart. We're feeling them in the body, which is one big heart now as we move along this ascension. And we're listening to it and we're aligning with it. This is our natural state as a human hybrid soul. Okay? This is the soul within the soul. And this is how we transform. And we think, again, that it's going to be some woo-woo or some solar flash or whatever the hell the story looks like. But remember, underneath all of what we're looking at is pure energy. And this energy has free will. And we're in a realm where we're learning more and more every single day to align our free will with universal will, which is what? In this moment, the highest and the best. And how do we do that? It's not the woo-woo. It's by conscious living, way beyond what we've talked about, way beyond what we thought that is. Consciously, moment by moment, in every interaction that we have with this universe, many times being with an institution or being with another brother or sister in a human interaction. Somebody says, here, I have this gift for you. And you feel immediately like there's something going on with it. There's an ulterior motive or whatever the case may be. And you say no. But what we have done in the past is say, yes, I'll take that because I don't want you to think that I'm not appreciative. But I don't like that what you gave me, and it doesn't matter why or what you're offering to me. It doesn't matter why. I have a alignment with my heart, and my heart says no, or my heart says yes, whatever the case may be. And it's crazy, and it's wild, and from the human-only perspective, it doesn't make sense. But we've lived in a codependent frequency for far too long. I mentioned this earlier in the kitchen, and I said I might piss some people off. But this is the leap we have to take. When I see a post and somebody says, please send me healing, if I do, now I can send my good thoughts, but am I really sending healing? Can somebody really heal me? No. Absolutely not. I'm engaging this codependent frequency if I play that game with them. And we see this in a lot of different forms. Somebody tries to put something on you or over you, and you accept it, even though it hurts your heart, even though it's not in alignment with your natural nature. That's playing the game. That's engaging the codependent frequency. This is what we do. And we would have never looked here. We didn't even look for ourselves as being the way out in the first place. But once we figured it out, now how do we do this? Well, we're making it up as we go. And this is the way the universe works. It doesn't know what's going to come from its creation. It gets in there and gets jiggy with it. And that's what we're doing now. So we're going to take our awareness of the I am is me, and we're applying it. And we think it's a woo-woo kind of thing, but it's not. It's simply the conscious human being part of us, which at its core is a heart, which is the soul within the soul. And we're saying, this is where I live from, this is where I think from, this is where I speak from, and this is where I act from. And I'm going to honor that, and I'm going to align with that. I'm going to align my free will. This is universal will has created this soul within the soul. I'm aligning with that. I can't explain it, but this is how it works. And think about the energy of one person saying no. If we look at the story of Jesus, what was he doing? He was saying no, not doing that, not buying the BS. And look what kind of effect that soul had. And there's so many more in our history that we don't know about. But I got news for you. There's billions and billions of Jesuses walking the face of the earth today. And it really comes down to, people talk about the Great Divide. They talk about the Great Divide. They're over there and they're over, and we're over here. The Great Divide is right here. The Great Divide is the universe saying, hey, how much faith do you have? You know, how much courage do you have? How much love do you have? We can no longer be in cognitive dissonance and do one thing but feel another. If I do something that compromises my soul to consent because they're going to take my job away, or they're going to leave me and I'll be single again, or whatever the case is, we have myriad different examples. But if it's not congruent, then the codependent frequency goes on. This realm has run on codependent frequency. This realm has run on fear. We know all this stuff. This is why I'm a little done with the platforms that tell us what's wrong. We know. And we also know nothing's wrong. We also know that it's an opportunity for us to take some action and to align our thoughts, words, and action with that core, with that soul within the soul. All we have to do is say no. And I know that sounds easy, but you're not alone. And here's the other thing I was talking about in the kitchen. You know, the ascension is an individual thing. But here in this experience, here in this experiment, we do it together. We all do it together. And we have told the universe, don't come bail us out. We want to do this on our own. We want to grow up. We want to show the universe. You know, it's not like we're the young kid. And in a sense, I guess we are in our mind. But what we have to offer is everything that we came in with, every trauma that we've experienced, everything that we've had go on in our lives, in our multiple lives here on earth, and all the woo-woo that we pulled down. All of this stuff is the raw material of the transformation that's occurring now. And we are on point, and we are leading all of our aspects. You can call them angels and galactics and archangels and elementals and so on and so on and so on and so on. We are on point, and we are not just rising to the frequency that we came in with, that existed before these incarnations. We're taking it further than that, and they're coming with us. This is how all timelines and dimensions come into a higher level of alignment. And it's done by the most basic, elemental, seemingly mundane part of our multidimensionality, the human being and its moment by moment existence. Somebody says, I'm going to do this, or I want you to come do this with me, and you don't want to do it, or I don't want to do it. When we align with our heart and give our answer of yes or no, we have no idea the impact that sovereign choice has across all timelines and dimensions. but we're going to find out more and more every day. It all happens right here, boots on the ground, souls in a body, with the soul within the soul in the heart. This catalyzation of all of our emotions that used to run wild, we're putting it into the furnace of alchemy, and we're expanding ourselves in this earth. And it's done without all the bells and whistles, and it's done without all the woo-woo. It's just done by a conscious human choice, moment by moment, to do the best we can. And not to fall back on, well, I'm only human. And not to fall back on, well, they're not doing it. And until they do it, until the government does it, until this happens, until the solar flash, until the spaceships land, until Jesus comes down on a chariot. Okay? We're not doing that. We're taking full responsibility each moment. And it seems mundane and it seems unbelievable, but it's true. We carry the power of the universe in our conscious experience in each and every moment. And we have been given and afforded the opportunity to push the outer envelope of the universal experience and alignment and growth to a place it's never been before. This is creation. We are creation in a physical form. And just look around. Look around at all these stories of transformation. You watch Soul Speaks 5D, and you see it over the last few months. You just see the evolution of it. It's not about Soulogy. It's just a small reflection of what's going on in this world that gets no press. It's about the lady, Emmanuel in Mexico, who was told by an aspect of herself, a deity, come to a pyramid, let's have a marriage of divine union. You are going to have an immaculate conception, who has a child, who lives for 2.5 years by human terms, who has a divine spiritual relationship with that woman, with his mother, who leaves this earth in physical form. And these stories are going on all over the place. It's about the women all over the world who have said they're having cosmic pregnancies. It's about our friend Alicia when she goes to a conference and there's 200 women in the audience, and she talks about this for the first time, her own experience of this unexplained pregnancy. And 10 women, 5% of those that were there, walk up to her and said, I had the same experience. We're all having these experiences, and it doesn't get any press. And if it does get any press, it's some convoluted platform that's been commercialized that loses its essence because it's got all the spit and polish and it's overproduced. These things are all relevant, don't get me wrong, but the most important thing, the most important and powerful code that we can receive is sitting across from each other and having a conversation with no bullshit and no walls and no mask. That's why it's so beautiful. That's why you see the tears and the laughter. You know, being human was our greatest weakness, but we're quickly finding out that being human is our greatest strength. And it is a strength that the entire universe is on the edge of its seat to see how far we can take it. And you know why? Because they love us, because they are us, but also because it's expanding them as well. Don't discount the minute things that happen in our lives. Don't discount the decisions we make, the good gestures that we make, the things that we do when we're spontaneous and intuitive and creative and imaginative. Don't discount those things. Those things are felt by the entire universe. And when our free will is in alignment with our heart, in alignment with universal will, the creation of the heart, the power of the heart, it affects and expands all parties involved, and that's every single aspect of dark and light, so to speak. So it's in the stories like Julie Dara Roberts, who's got children, school starts, and she has to go into that field where there's suppression and distortion being presented and threats and force, apparent force to comply. And what did she say? She said, I had to go into a place to work out all my frustrations, to find a place of neutrality, spoken like a true mama bear. And she went into the den of this collective institution and she sat down in neutrality and she took them on. This is where the real power is and the real stories, not this BS that we see even on social media. All the pretty words and all the memes and all the nice adages and all the philosophies go right out the fucking window now, because we are holding ourselves accountable. We are not going to make a move and come off the fence when we see enough people do it. We are going to get off of the fence and we are going to make a choice. And like I said this morning in the kitchen, when we make these choices, are they always right? By a human perspective? No, but we learn. We are emulating, we are following the same pattern of soul evolution. We're in a human body with that soul within the soul, with the heart, this superpower that we have that's paralyzed us and handicapped us. But now we're turning it around. We've alchemized it. And it takes guts from a human perspective, and it takes courage from a human perspective, and love and open-mindedness and willingness to go against what's being presented to us, no matter what it is, be it in a relationship, a household, a job, or from a government. Nobody has to look very far right now to see how distorted things are. I could give you statistics, I could give you all kinds of information, but it's out there and it's easy to see. It's like the emperor with no clothes, right? Backwards. Except now what's being presented as the royalty or the kingdom or the government or the whatever it is, the media, whatever it is, they're looking at us, okay, buck naked, and telling us that we're all adorned in beautiful clothes. Well, I got news for you. It's the buck naked to the soul. It's owning that which we've been and that we are. It's saying, hey, we've been duped. Hey, we got caught up in the game. Hey, we consented to this. Hey, this is all us. And this game that you're playing, thank you, brothers and sisters, that are presenting all these different sub-programs of the fear programming and the death programming and so on. It's not going to work anymore. If you think you got enough military or whatever it is, enough force behind you in numbers to take us all on, I got news for you. You may get some of us, but surely you're not going to get any of us. Because anyone that gets, for every person that openly gets mistreated, our hearts get bigger, our intelligence expands, and we begin to choose a new path. And that path is through our individuality, through our own example and our own energy. We show this world that nothing raises hell like the light. Nothing can raise hell like the light. And that's just an expression, and don't get caught up in the semantics. But there's not a goddamn thing that can stop us. Nothing can stop us. And just remember, the universe is always in motion. We are always in motion. And just because it looks like somebody was physically taken out, they weren't. In fact, those that I have known that have passed and crossed over in the last few years, those that have come back and spoken to me, as I know they've done with you in cases, they've all said the same thing. I'm still there, and I'm on the other side, so to speak, and I'm part of the team. I'm part of the team too. I'm right there with you. This is a realm that we all created, and we're geniuses, because who could have fooled you better than yourself? We don't need any more information to know what we're dealing with. We don't need any more information to know what we are. The only thing that can keep us from this expansion, because we have full control. I don't care who's predicting what. It's going to be 2035. It's going to be 2050. It's going to be there. Fuck that shit. It can be right now. It can be right this second by truly choosing what's in alignment in our heart. This is our natural nature. It's easy. It's like riding a bike. We've been doing it for incarnation after incarnation after incarnation after incarnation. And you know what? Our brother, sister souls that are playing the role of, let's just say, Illuminati, 1%, 13 families, archons, reptilians, whatever the hell you want to put on it, the devil, Satan, whatever. They know this. They know this. They know that D-Day is here. So when the roles are reversed and the emperor has no clothes, but in this case, the roles are reversed and all the people have no clothes, and the emperor's telling us that everybody's fully clothed and they're Sunday best, it is the power of pushing past the embarrassment and admitting, hey, I am buck naked to the soul. But like the song said at the beginning of this is all I got, but this is all I need. I am a human hybrid soul. I've been blessed in this incarnation. I chose to come here, and I was chosen, and all of you were too, and are too. And I came to realize this point. I came here right now to realize this point, and that is to put my money where my mouth is, to walk the talk, and to say to this distortion, this blessed distortion that has been the catalyst of my life, that has brought me, by human terms, suffering and pain, which now I understand was a blessing and a perfect design. And that's not just some new age pretty word thing. It's a fact. I came to give it a shot, and I'm going to do the best I can. And this is how the universe works. We don't get there. You don't ever get there. So I always look at it this way. This is who I am. This is where I am. That's where I'm going. Okay. And I'm either going to get there and then go on to the next one, or I'm going to die trying, by human terms. Because if I physically transition, I'm just going to pick up right where I left off. Whatever lessons I need to keep working on, whatever objectives that I've been working on, it just continues. This is an individual journey, but in this case, in this experience, we do it all together. So every single time that we point at someone or something and we say that's bad, we're fueling the fires of codependency, fear programming, and death programming. Fear doesn't exist in our natural state. Death doesn't exist in our natural state. And codependency isn't real in our natural state. How do we come into more of our own natural state? By walking the talk and doing it. And if you think you've changed, and I think I've changed over the last 10 years, well, you ain't seen nothing yet.
because the universe does not stagnate. It does not flatline. It continues to expand. And just to conclude, on my own experience, as the individual goes, so goes the collective. I hit the streets 10 years ago. Just like many of you, part of me came in and said, you need to go do something. And I'm like, the human's going, well, wait a minute. That sounds pretty crazy. But guess what? We did it. 10 years ago, I did it. I went out on the streets by my own choice, because that's the part of me that was talking the loudest. The part I knew was in control and command and at the highest level of alignment. Said, go out on the streets and be homeless. I didn't know it was going to be 2 years. Go out on the streets and be homeless and just figure it out step by step, day by day, moment by moment. That's what got us all here. We've all been following this guidance of our highest aspect, connection from our conscious awakened state. Have we done crazy things? How many of you have left relationships? How many of you have left jobs? How many have you left religion? How many of you have taken on different perspectives because of this guidance? Well, let's not stop listening to it, because that voice is getting louder and the distortion is matching it. The distortion is getting louder. I mean, it's a fucking joke. I'm sorry. It is a joke. It's so distorted and so cartoonish that I can't stand here anymore and say, so-and-so's not conscious. So-and-so's asleep. We all have elements of unconsciousness, of programming, and being asleep. We all do. This is part of the separation when we think that we're smarter than somebody else, or we think we're right and they're wrong. It doesn't make sense in the human-only perspective, but it doesn't keep us from putting out the effort. And that's what it takes, because the universe doesn't say, oh, you figured that out, so we're going to move you up. We're going to leapfrog you up 1,111 steps on the soul highway. It doesn't work that way. It's step by step by step. And it takes a conscious effort. And I'm telling you, every single one of us has made progress on a consistent and more accelerated basis. But everything in the world that we have come from, that we measure things by, tells us we haven't. Well, I got news for you. We have. We have. Whatever you do from this point forward in your life, I'm not one to give advice. I'm not one to stick my nose anywhere. I just do, as we all do, what I'm guided to do. But if there's one thing, in my opinion, that is the most powerful thing we can do, that is to be in touch with our heart. And it's not just here, okay? It's the entire body. This is all heart. And we also know it actually goes out beyond us. We have a field much bigger than we think we are, or we thought we were, is to take everything on that's presented, arranged by ourselves, so that we can exercise a greater level of alignment of our free will with universal will. You can call it sovereignty. You can call it natural rights. You can call it natural law. You can call it whatever you want. But no more excuses. No more blaming. No more lies. And I'm not talking about to other people. I'm talking about to ourselves. If you don't want to get a jab, don't get it. If it's aligned with your heart. If you want to get it, get it. But by God, don't make any decisions based on compromising your soul, because this is the pattern that we came from. And the pattern that we're creating is a new template of new creation, new universe, new lives, new relationships, new everything. We are the new conception sequence. We are the new cosmic orgasm. We are the new everything. And it expands. And not only does it expand, but it expands very, very, very rapidly, way beyond exponential, way beyond quantum. And it grows like a wildfire. And like I said before, this is the real virus. And it cannot be contended with. And the last thing I want to say is that Julie Dara Roberts came on the show this past week. And she talks about the cosmology. She talks about the energies of the earth and so on. But the best part of that show was about the mama bear. That mama bear energy, that mother goddess energy that has been suppressed in this world is coming out. And it doesn't matter if you're a woman and it doesn't matter if you're a man. It's a soul sensibility. And that soul sensibility is saying, hey, wait a minute. That's enough. I'm going to say no. I'm going to call bullshit. I'm not letting that happen. And if anyone needs to see a physical example of that, just look at a grizzly bear and her cubs, or a raccoon and her cubs, or anything, because it's the same thing always. This is how we got here. Doing things that make no sense in respect to societal norms and conventional wisdom. And I'm a perfect example for the last 52 minutes. But I am tired. I'm sick and tired of the old world. And if I'm the only person, and I'm not, on the face of the earth who's going to do something different, then by God, I'm fucking doing it. And I'm going to do it in every moment. We didn't come here. Nothing against what we pulled down from the woo-woo. We didn't come here to say, I can do this and I can do that and you can do this and you can do that and I can't. We didn't come here for that. This is all code. It's all information. And our souls are wide awake. And when our human aspect starts to act, think, speak like the soul that it is, with the double power of the soul and the soul within the soul, the heart, the unique aspect of the human hybrid soul species, when that occurs, this thing gets blown wide open, and it's already started. So the distortion got louder. And now, just like our downloads, we get a download, then we walk 10 minutes away. We're like, am I crazy? Because the doubt starts to come in. Well, doubt's a program too. Hope is a program. There is no hope. Hope is just a space between doubt and faith. Faith is creation. The transitive verb to trust and believe. Jesus, I don't know what got into me today. But I'm tired. I'm fed up. And every one of us knows that the greatest gift of the dark night of the soul, the greatest gift was hitting rock bottom. Well, I'm fucking hitting rock bottom right now on behalf of myself and everybody else in this world and the entire universe. That's not a bad thing. That's a great thing. Because we can only go as high as we've gone low, so to speak. And Earth, in its extremity of polarities, has provided the widest expanse of creative consciousness. And now we're putting it together. And to think that of all the experiences we've had, it's going to come down to the human being a human, having the ovaries, having the balls to be in alignment with its heart, the Trinity energy, to serve myself love myself, honor myself, respect myself, hold myself in reverence at the highest and best, and equally to my brothers and sisters, and equally to the universe. This is the Trinity energy. Thank you, Morgan Lee, for explaining that. But that's really what it is. And as we go down the road, we find that everything is a simple, profound truth. And so, what is the simplest thing in our experience? The human being, with all of its frailties and all of its weaknesses and all of its pains and sufferings. We have now come to a point where we're going to say, fuck it. What do I got to lose? Because we tried it the other way. I would rather walk through the pits of hell than to consent. I will not do it anymore. So I wish you all peace, power, protection, your own peace, power, protection, and big ass love. Endless gratitude, love, honor, respect, and reverence. Let's show this world and let's show this universe. It's time to rip the Band-Aids off and show them that nothing raises hell like the light. And I mean that in the best way. That's just Todd's street vernacular. I love you. Thank you for your continued love, support, and contributions. And I'm going to get in this chair every single day as much as I can until they take me out of this place. And when they take me out of this place, you'll hear me, because you'll hear somebody flying through the air like a comet saying, I am soul.